I don't feel like he's the right leader for this organization to reach the promised land. As a leader, what really bothers me is that he doesn't have a relationship with everybody in the building. At the end of the day, he doesn't address the team. If there's a problem in the locker room, he lets another coach address the team. If we're playing and we're losing, he doesn't address the entire team as a group at halftime. He'll walk out of the locker room and let another coach handle it. All right, those are some strong words that Jamal Adams has made. So, Jacoby, I want to direct this first question at you. Given how the Jets have handled this and what Adams said about Gase, is it time for the Jets to just buck up and give him the trade that he wants?
Well, I think this is really interesting. And one thing I do is I want to consider the source. And I have not been in the Jets locker room at halftime, and Jamal Adams has. However, he does want a trade. So I'm not going to judge Adam Gase's leadership on this tweet. I'm not going to judge Adam Gase's leadership on that weird press conference when he was announced as the Jets head coach. But I am going to judge him on his record, his wins and losses, because a lot of his success happened in that 2016 season when the Dolphins went 10-6. They got the wild card, and they lost to the Steelers, and it seems like the Dolphins were an organization on the rise. Oh, wait, then they went 6-10. Then they went 7-9. Then he lost his job. Then he was hired by the Jets, had the weird press conference, and then went 7-9 again. You've got Le'Veon Bell and Sam Darnold. You've got Jamal Adams, who is one of the best defenders in the game. Jamal Adams is an absolute destroyer on the football field, and he doesn't want to play for you. I think if I were the Jets, they've got a lot of other problems to deal with that I'll let someone else discuss. If I were the Jets, I would seriously consider keeping Jamal Adams and losing Adam Gase.
Well, the Jets are in trouble, and Jacoby alluded to it, because if their squad has not been paying attention, their league is majority black. And you know what's going to happen when the players in the league read what their owner, Woody Johnson, allegedly said, what he's accused of saying, the sexist and the racist comments that he made, plus now a general manager who's willing to trade not only the best defensive player on your team, one of the best young stars in the game at a premium position. And then the coach, Adam Gase, if he pulls his hat even further down, it's going to be over his nose. And it lets me know that he's probably in over his head. This, Lewis, is what leads to frustrating days for people like me who wonder why I watched Eric Bieniemy run a football in Colorado, and then I saw how great he's been with Kansas City, and he can't get a job. Can't get a job. Now, Adam Gase, you talked about his record, David Jacoby. It's not very good. And it's not very good with the Jets. So if you are the Jets and you want to keep Adams, you probably got to give him a blank check and or fire your current coach. But I don't see this now being a team that players throughout the league are going to want to play for until the issues with their owner get ironed out.
Look, when it comes to head coaches, when it comes to general managers, when it comes to ownership, look, in all three of those entities have to be great leaders, right? Coaches have to be great leaders, GMs have to be great leaders, owners have to be great leaders. In order to be a great leader, there's three things that are just non-negotiable, right? You have to be credible. You have to be trustworthy, which is what credibility is about. You have to be competent, which means you have to be able to do your job at a high level, and you have to have a positive impact on the people around you. And right now, look, the Jets are in a crisis when it comes to being credible, being competent, and having a positive impact on others. And Jamal Adams is speaking to those things when he's talking about not only Adam Gase, but also when he's talking about the general manager. And obviously he hasn't made any comments, to my knowledge, about ownership. But obviously, Woody Johnson right now is in the crosshairs when it comes to those three things, about his credibility, his competency, and his positive impact on others, especially when you're talking about the kind of allegations that are swirling around him. Now, does this mean that they need to go ahead and move on with Jamal Adams? Actually, what it means is that they need to try and figure out why this relationship is so bad with him. Why is it that he doesn't view them as being credible? Why are they not very good on the football field? Why is Adam Gase and Joe Douglas not having the positive impact on this organization and this franchise on and off the football field the way they need to? That's what they need to be thinking about before you even get to the issue of, do they need to go ahead and send their best player down the road? Because, look, it's easy to just go ahead and, and kind of make this a very, black and white type issue in terms of disgruntled player. Let's just trade him, see what we can get back for him, and take this whole fantasy football approach. But it's bigger than that. It's more systemic than that with this football team, because this is not something that's been brought up for the first time with the New York Jets, and it's not something that's been brought up for the first time with Adam Gase. So you're right, they have much deeper seated issues. Would I want to get rid of one of my best players, an all-pro safety like this, who I drafted as high as I drafted, and someone who I wanted to build my football team around? No, I wouldn't want to trade him. I would be trying to fix the issue. But maybe in Jamal's mind, it can't be fixed. He's someone who right now, at all costs, seems like he just wants to get the heck out of there. Which, if I'm Adam Gase and I'm Joe Douglas and I'm ownership, I'm going, we're doing something wrong here, man. We really are, because this guy seems hell-bent on getting out of here. And why is that? Why is that? Why does he not trust us? Why does he not believe in us? And see, there's a lot of people right now who are just banging on Jamal saying, look, he's just a loudmouth. He's disgruntled. He should toe the line. He has 2 more years left on his contract, and then they could franchise him if he wants. He needs to just shut his mouth and play. No, those days are over. Players are speaking up now. Players know more than anyone whether or not someone has the kind of leadership qualities that they want to buy into. Jalen, you know that. And you know a lot of times, look, when you really dig into it deep, players know when someone's selling them a bunch of BS and when they're not, when it's someone who they really want to follow and when they don't. And so, look, right now, look, I know it's easy for people in general to always take the side of management when you're discussing these kind of things. But look, Jamal has a legitimate gripe here, and he has a legitimate issue. And I think it's something that bears watching. And, maybe this is one of these situations where they need to just go ahead and go their separate ways. And Joe Douglas needs to see what he can get for Jamal, in terms of trade compensation, because he seems dug in and he seems awful ticked off. And quite honestly, there hasn't been enough success on the football field for the New York Jets to claim otherwise.
And now you go into a season, as you just acknowledged, with Jamal Adams being unhappy. Le'Veon Bell was hoping to have a bounce-back year. Sam Darnold had his issues with mono. He missed a lot of games. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about issues with the owner and the GM and the coach instead of the prospects of a football team that plays in a really stout AFC.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.